I've always wanted to become a restaurateur, but I didn't know how or where or when. We went to a smokehouse in St. Louis, and I was blown away. I was like, holy, can I swear? Sorry, guys. Woke up the next morning and I said, let's do it. My dad hated the idea and to this day hates the idea. The day we opened was frightening. Everything that could go wrong went wrong.
All I remember is you and Andrea coming out, there's no sausages on the menu.
Just thought, let's call it the Dam Smokehouse. People can say, hey, let's go to that Dam place. I'm Faron Saufert. I'm the owner, operator, chef, media guy, fix-it guy of the Dam Smokehouse. Been here 6 years and we've been operational for 5. Previously, I was in agriculture for 22 years. I worked all over Saskatchewan and Alberta, grain companies mostly, and then later on in life got into more ag tech. The grain was fun. It was a lot of interactions with customers, which helped me carry over a lot of these relationships later on in life. I've always wanted to become a restaurateur, but I didn't know how or where or when. I was at an ag tech conference in St. Louis. A group of us went out for supper one night. We went to a smokehouse called Pappy's Smokehouse in St. Louis. And I was blown away. I was like, holy, can I swear? Sorry, guys. Okay. It was amazing. It was the best food I've eaten anywhere. And I thought to myself, why don't we have anything like that up here? So I kind of woke up the next morning and I said, let's do it. And we made a 5-year plan. We ended up finding a location and getting this place 5 years later and became operational. Never smoked a piece of meat before in my life until the day we opened. We wanted to find a building that we could live in. When we were looking around at different communities in the Northeast, we happened to find this one, which was a jewelry store with an upstairs that had office space and the living quarters. The previous owner left everything in here. We carried out probably 40 yards of trash out of here. It was phenomenal. The basement was full of boxes. Never found any gold, but what do you do? It was stressful getting started. We were very naive. We didn't even know how to turn a deep fryer on when we opened. So there was a lot of things that were learning curves. About a week before, my wife came up with her cornbread recipe and Caesar salad recipe, and I started practicing different barbecue sauces and stumbled upon one that worked for us. The day we opened was frightening as hell. Our electrical kind of started quitting on us in the back. We had to get an electrician in while we were trying to do orders. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. We were basing it off of how a restaurant runs, so we had a menu. And we recognized right from that point that what our plan wasn't going to work. And we shut down the very next day and revamped and did a quick turnaround and thought, okay, if we're gonna do this, let's run it like an American smokehouse where it's fresh daily, and whatever you don't use, we'll blow it on sandwiches and whatnot for lunch, and just start fresh each day. If you run out of product, we'll run out of product. First come, first serve.
We never pulled a brisket out of a bison in 36 years that we've been raising them. Never once pulled a brisket till Faron asked. And now if we kill anything, pull in the briskets and Faron does a special.
All right, so I've got a Packer brisket here. This is a sterling silver. The point part of the brisket's always fatty, but it's important to have a lot of nice fat through the flat part. So I kind of start off trimming off this gray zone right here. It just looks ugly, and then it allows me to see how much fat I have at the top to trim off. And I think everybody has their own style of trimming brisket. This is just the way I do it. Then I flip it over. There's a hard seam of fat on this side too, but I'm gonna take it all out instead of wedging the fat off. And why I do that is I save this chunk for our burnt ends. Now that I cut this here, I'm able to see the thickness of the fat cap on top here. So then I can make a decision how much I need to remove. I've heard that our brisket and our barbecue is as good as what they've had in southern states and Texas. I can't say I agree with them. I've never eaten it down there. So if we're doing it and they liking it, I guess we're doing something right. And that's about it. I'm happy with that trim. It's good enough for me and it's good enough for the Dam Smokehouse. Now I season it. So I use a blend of 50-50 salt pepper, and we give it a real good coat here of this salt and pepper on both sides. A lot of people will throw mustard or oil on top of this for a binder. I don't bother because I'm usually seasoning it and throwing it right in the smoker anyway. And that's it. That's basically a trimmed, ready to go brisket for what we do here. I had this idea of what a smokehouse should look like in my head, thinking, okay, what's Western Canada's smokehouse gonna look like? I wanted it to be kind of a bluesy feel where music was important. I'm a 90s guy, so I grew up with alternative, and that's what we play mostly in here, that and blues. We're a big ag area. I wanted to incorporate a little bit of that stuff too in here. As much signage from local distilleries and breweries as I could get my hands on. I just wanted to use a play on words. We have a dam here in Nipawin, so I just thought it'd be kind of a fun name. We got a flat building, kind of looks like a dam. I just thought, let's call it the Dam Smokehouse. People can say, hey, let's go to that dam place. Stephanie, do you remember like the grout work on these bricks?
Yeah, the whole demo. To putting all the records on the ceiling, I tried to do a few.
Yeah.
But remember, I couldn't do any of them. It was too hard because you have to have your arm way up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the grout was terrible. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, we try to make it as messy as possible, I think.
Well, we tried it good first, but then it got messy, so we made it messy. But it worked.
We were only open like 3 or 4 days, and I entered in sausages on the thing. All I remember is you and Andrea coming out, there's no sausages on the menu.
Yeah, we never even had sausage at that time.
No,
I don't even know how it was on the till.
I don't know how it was either.
All right, Sierra, we got to plan this 5-year. I've got some ideas, but I'll run them past you and see what you think. Maybe you guys could come up with a couple special cocktails for tomorrow.
Yeah.
What should we price them at though?
$5.
Why not? 5-year anniversary, let's do $5 cocktails tomorrow. Our 5-year coming up was pretty special to survive that long. I'll come up with a dish, or we'll maybe just use that one that we used before.
Yeah, sure.
Maple bar bacon. Especially opening your first year and having a massive learning curve, and then having 2 years of COVID to deal with right after that was not a lot of fun. Wasn't part of my business plan. I didn't have pandemic written in there. And get some pastries in from the bakery.
Sure.
I can contact them, Can you guys hit social media and try to get some customers out for it?
Absolutely.
Good afternoon, Family Bakery.
Hi, Chris. It's Faron.
Hi, Faron. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Good.
I need to place an order for tomorrow.
Yeah, I can take your order. You're getting ready for your anniversary celebration.
I don't know where 5 years went, really. It just kind of flew by, and here we are. I need 3 dozen smokehouse buns.
We do all of like the breads and buns for him, and he will call with specialty orders sometimes, and he'll want us to do up the desserts. So we'll do up, you know, different cakes or cupcakes.
I remember one of our struggles when we were first going. I had to take grilled cheese off the menu. I would panic. When I had a grilled cheese come on for kids, I'd burn every one of them, like literally every one. Such a simple sandwich, but I couldn't do it.
Well, because we put them in a frying pan instead of on the grill.
Well,
And then
yeah.
you crank it up and they burn every
Well,
time.
I'd forget about it until I start smelling it. It's like, oh yeah, grilled cheese.
Yeah.
You can't believe where you started and how pathetic you were to where you've grown today. And it's not an easy industry for anybody, and to be able to last 5 years, I think we should give ourselves a pat on the back sometimes. The wood item for a smokehouse is tricky because we don't live in an area with a lot of good hardwoods. So when we first started, I was getting wood shipped in from Ontario by pellet, and it was costing me thousands of dollars. And I said to Andrea, I said, we've got to come up with a better idea than this because this isn't paying at all. So we went out and looked for as much local apple as we could find, and we kind of still do that. Every summer we try to find local apple, cut it, and store it at my dad's place. Okay, we're out at my wood supply, or my wood stock. Today I'm picking up some apple here. Predominantly this is what we use on chicken and ribs. I was talking to another barbecue guy in Regina. I knew he was getting oak, but I didn't know where he was getting it from. He said, you want oak? You gotta go to Manitoba. He wouldn't tell me where, so I reached out to a few of my connections in Manitoba, and I said, find me a supplier. And now for the past 4 years, we make a trip out every year to Oak Point, Manitoba, and load up oak. Should we load it up, Jada? Alrighty. Grab some pieces and throw it in here for me.
Box on it.
I know, but that's okay.
That one has fire on
Did it? The apple gives it a nice, soft, sweet flavor, I find. It's gentle on the meat, so you're not going to get any darkening out of it, whereas oak's very pungent, and you need it for those thicker red meats. Gives it a nice punch of flavor. So was that fun, Jada?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First time being on camera.
Yeah? How'd you do?
I don't know.
Just gonna prep up some baby backs. They come from Thunder Creek. One of our suppliers found these baby backs for me. I've really enjoyed these ones. They're fairly meaty. They hold their moisture really well, I found, compared to a lot of other baby backs that I've had. I use a dry rub that I get from Rob Reinhardt in Regina. We do a light coat on the back. Again, I don't use a binder. A lot of people do. I'm all about time efficiency. If you're doing this at home, you have all the time in the world. I don't. And that's it. Ready for the smoker. We definitely have a loyal base locally, but this has been very much a destination restaurant, and we get people from all over the place that come just for supper from 2-3 hours away constantly. When they come in, I always try to make a point of going out and thanking them and talking to them, because when they're taking their time out of their life to come one way 3 hours just to eat, that's pretty cool. So what have you been doing?
Just got back from Colorado. I took 6 bulls down there. For
Did you,
slaughter.
for real?
All
Yeah.
bulls. Yeah, For real. I drove by Mount Rushmore on the way home.
For real.
For real.
Hey, that's pretty cool. Why
At
not?
the stop sign as we're going by.
Yeah.
Most of it's not business. Lots of it's just talk about world. And again, that comes back to small town community. I think it's impossible to not blur that line between friendship and business because it is so small. But to me, that's also what makes it special. That these girls, if something's on the menu that they know I like, I get a text. Hey, this is on the menu. Should I save your table? I liken it to the boys on Cheers. I walk in here, the staff all knows me, I have my spot. To me, this is just a happy place to be.
I usually put the coffee on, and they come downstairs, the coffee's ready.
Yeah.
So you got the container then?
Yeah, I do. I just have one piece of apple. My mom was pretty quiet about it because I think deep down inside she's always wanted to be in a restaurant. My dad hated the idea and to this day hates the idea. He wanted me to rename this place Faron's Mistake. But they've always stuck by me and supported me through it. To this day, my mom and dad still help with cleaning the smoker. They'll pick up my grates and take them to the car wash and wash them out for me while we're doing the rest of it in here. My sister-in-law, Stephanie, she's been with us right from the get-go. You know, we've had good family support and it's something that we'll never be able to repay back to those that have helped us get going.
6 years.
We've been here 6 years.
6 years. Yeah. Which I couldn't figure out.
You still can't figure it out.
No, still can't. 6 years later.
Oh, my dad always wanted me to farm. That's what I grew up as, right? Farm boy, family farm, and I think he realized earlier on in life that that's probably not what I was going to do.
Restauranting is a tough racket though. Like, it's a tough racket. Yeah, you take a look in Saskatchewan. They're changing names lots. Except your chains. Your chains in, Montana's and that if they don't make money here, they make money somewhere else.
I mean, the guy farms, so you can't get more stressful than that. Any career that you got to depend on the weather, my goodness. To me, if you're having barbecue, you got to have beer. To me, that just kind of goes hand in hand. And we've got some of the best in the country right here in this province. Same goes for a lot of the distilleries. Some of the products that these guys are pumping out are phenomenal. And we can make some real cool cocktails with them. Some that pair super well with our meats.
The beer. I love food, I love beer. I don't even know how far you would have to drive from here to find a beer menu like Faron's got.
We're going to take a stance and only support Saskatchewan craft breweries and craft distilleries and wineries. So you'll never find a bottle of Smirnoff in here or Pilsner or Bud Light or Coors Light. Just not going to happen. But we didn't know really how we were going to do that. We had reached out to a few of the breweries that were open at the time, and they were really excited that, hey, somebody from 3 hours away wants to bring their product in.
And I've heard people complain, that he doesn't have a Coors Light or a Pilsner or whatever. And I just think, you can get that anywhere. You can get that at any other restaurant in town, liquor store, wherever you want. You don't get this. Try something new, branch out. And I think once people start, they come back for that. And I give him hell. I said, you need to start posting your beer menu too, because sometimes he'll go through some of these kegs in just a few days, which in a small town, he's not a bar, he's a restaurant.
He wanted it to be a priority to work with local producers. I could tell that he was excited about good barbecue and good beer. It's like, man, we're speaking the same language.
Those guys have done remarkable things for our business. They've really put our name out there. They have such a footprint that whenever they mention your name, it's fantastic traction. All right, I'm gonna make some Bama wings. We take chicken, give it a good rub. These we smoked this morning. This is my white sauce that we make. There's a lot of different things in here. If you taste it on its own, it's disgusting, but on chicken, it's fantastic. It's one of those things with growth is we're always looking for new items, and we're trying to find what's the next new thing in barbecue. So you kind of keep your ear to the ground, see what other guys are doing. We're just giving these a nice little saute, kind of let the flavor bloom on them a little bit. And of course, to do this in real butter because it tastes better. We've asked customers, like, what kind of meat would you like to see come through our doors? And there's been some pretty wild ideas to try. Other things I'm not too sure how I could source kangaroo or anything like that. We just dump our chicken into the white sauce to give it a good dunk. And that is our Bama chicken. I'm gonna do some maple whiskey bar bacon bites. I've got some leftover pork belly here. We just cut some nice big chunks out of it. We call this bar bacon. It's gonna taste a lot like bacon, but it's more of a nice bite for your belly up to a bar, basically. So you just cut these into chunks, plop it in the deep fryer just to crisp it. We season it with a bunch of dry rub, and then we spray whiskey maple on it. I light the whiskey on fire and burn off all the alcohol, and then mix in the maple syrup. Then we give this stuff a really good spritz, and it's like a whiskey maple bar bacon. It's crazy good. And that will kind of candy on there. And you got a nice little fatty, juicy morsel of goodness that's perfect with beer. This is what you will see on our 5-year anniversary menu. So some of the things we learned over the course of 5 years is keep doing what you think you're doing right and just keep with it. Don't listen to all the outside noise of you should try this or that or this. If you believe in your own system, go with it. If it's working, why fix it or tinker with it? All in all, I think we've done some things that people have really taken to, and my wife and I are pretty proud of what we've made.
This job definitely taught me how to talk to people.
Yeah.
If not for this job, probably would have been socially awkward. Just hi.
And I think we've noticed that with quite a bit of our staff. We've brought kids out of their shells on a few, which is cool, right? I think most of my staff will tell you we're a family here, and we all get along. We try to have a lot of fun at work.
Thanks for the cupcake, Sarah. Penny Lane. So I think that was just last fall, but I started realizing how much I was eating here and sitting at this table. And a friend of mine, I think I decided before she got here that I needed my own sign, and I found it on Amazon. And right there, she pulled out her phone and she ordered this sign on Amazon. So then the sign came in, we were out for supper again. And the two of us were here, and I said, well, go get it. And she literally just left her phone and everything, ran home, got the sign and a screwdriver, and pulled, I think it said chicken lover here. And we put up Penny Lane and staked my claim on this table. Other people now think they need a sign, but good luck.
Thank you all for coming along on this ride with me, and I hope we're here for another 5 years after and do this again.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, guys.
I love coming here because I can walk in, it doesn't matter if it's crowded, if it's empty, I am greeted the same. The staff is happy to see me. The food is consistent, it's fast but amazing food. The beer is amazing.
You just walk in, it's inviting, you get that smell of the barbecue. I just think that's pretty phenomenal that in Nipawin, Saskatchewan, you can get some world-class barbecue and world-class beer. It's a fantastic place.
5-year anniversary.
What does the Dam Smokehouse mean to me? You know, it's my livelihood, so I have to make it work because everything I have invested in it is everything I have. So Failure's not an option. It's got to work, and it means the world to me. And geez, I'm happy we started it.
Anything that brings people to town is good for everybody because they don't usually just come for one stop. They get gas or decide to spend the night or visit the regional park, and that brings revenue into the rest of our community. And Faron's a big part of that drawing card.
You know, it's been great for our business because our name is out there again. He often names the bison meals, you know, the Beldon Bison Burger, or he actually named one after me one time.
I want to thank for our success. I'd like to thank the town of Nipawin. We've got a great customer base that keeps us going. My staff being loyal and always doing their best, putting their best foot forward. My wife for being so strong to be able to deal with so much pressure. I can't thank Andrea enough for that. Anybody who's ever come through my doors and came through a second time, I thank them. And I hope they come back again.
Is there a restaurant or beverage producer you'd like to see featured on maxTV Local? Let us know at SaskTel.com/local.